Hello, welcome to the Gyst Rewind podcast, where we bring context to culture. I'm your host, Kobe Taylor. In this show, we'll explore what it is to be a creator and bring new ideas for what it means to be an artist. We also hope to create connections and the opportunity to learn something new within our society. So sit back, relax, and just rewind. All right, so I think we'll start. So, welcome to the newest episode of the Gyst Rewind podcast. We're being context to culture. You know who I am, Kobe. I got my partner right here.
Rock Lee, your dopeness, what's up?
You got another big time guest in here. You want to introduce yourself?
Hey, my name is Levorn Love, aka VersatileHands. Barber, personal chef extraordinaire, event planner, jack of all trades. You know.
Man, I've known you for how long? I think like what, 3 years, 4 years? I've known your shop.
Yeah.
We've just been talking, and I watch what you do on social media. I see you got a voice out here, and you're in the city, so I had to get you in here and discuss this. Discuss you honestly, discuss what you do, because you're a black man, you're an entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying, and you're a hustler, man. I like watching that because it inspires me to also want to hustle. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So, what was early life like? Where'd you grow up at? All that jazz.
I'm born and raised here. I'm in Minneapolis, North Side. Lived there my whole life.
Shout out Northside.
Yeah, man.
You watched that documentary, right? We talked
I
about
did.
that. Yep.
You mean the North High one?
Yep.
Yeah. So I thought it was great. It was beautiful.
Check that out.
Man, shout out to them. You know, I went to Henry. So
Okay.
Northside rivals. But that's all I love, though.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
did a
End
good
of the
job.
day. Right.
They represented, man. I was proud of everybody involved with that. So I know a lot of those kids personally too. So
Wow.
yeah, that was pretty powerful actually. Indeed. But yeah, grew up here. Like I said, went to Henry High School, and just kind of just been trying to figure out life ever since then. You know.
What was your passion growing up? Like as a kid, like you were like, man, I know I'm gonna be doing this. What was your thing? I mean, like, what were you just into in general?
Like as a kid, and honestly,
like kind of kid and growing,
yeah,
in high school.
I was super into basketball.
Okay.
Once I got to like high school, one of my best friends, he was like a basketball head. He had all the cards and all the T-shirts and knew all the players, whatever colleges they went to. So the more I learned from him, the more into it I got, and it kind of just that took over everything for me after a certain point. But before that, growing up, I was in the house. I was like, I wanted to grow up and be like a rocket scientist or
wow,
chemical engineer or something. Yeah.
Damn.
I know, right? I was a nerd, watched a lot of cartoons.
Yeah, me too. I think I wanted to be an astronaut for a long time.
I can see that.
Sports kind of got in my life, and I was like, well, I'm doing this. So did you play basketball in high school?
I did.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Played there. We weren't very good when I was there. We weren't good at all, actually. Yeah, they got a lot better after we graduated, but it was definitely a important part of life, just like learning how to be part of a team, and chemistry, and playing for somebody else, all that kind of stuff. So I think that kind of stuff translates into adulthood, just how you go about life. Yeah, right. for sure.
And you're still kind of tapped in, you still kind of tapped into this. We talk a lot, a lot of the kids playing basketball. The people, what I'm saying, making noise out here. So it's nice to have that kind of passion for something that you can still kind of relate to in a certain way. Especially because you so many people. Like a lot of people, whenever I talk to you in the shop, they also play basketball.
Yes,
I think this is we have a lot of people who play sports on our podcast. I don't know if that's what we're trying to do, but
maybe it's just a good sign.
Great, that's a good sign. Yeah, I think
you play sports too.
I play football. Yeah,
yeah. So you attract that. It's kind of like true. the same commonalities, same interests. That's how it be.
That's true. Yeah, I think that's what it is. Because I'm like, man, every person we've had on here, I'm pretty sure has been an athlete, except for maybe one or two people.
Really?
And I think one of those people their episode didn't work out. It just, it did a sound. They were great. It just, the sound didn't work out.
Really?
That's crazy.
Oh.
Yeah. And so you're still involved? Are you kind of still involved? You kind of like know who's who out here and all?
Oh, for sure. I mean, I keep my ear to the streets and keep my pulse on things. I mean, a lot of the guys they're my clients. I don't coach anymore. I did a lot of coaching at
Okay.
AAU and stuff coming up. So my son played.
Yep. Yep.
He was decent. So you met a lot of guys just through that. But now I'm just kind of more friends of mine, their kids are playing and stuff. More of that kind of stuff. I'm just still a fan. I'll go to games. Certain couple nights a week, I'll go to games and check out some of the guys and see how they look, and just try to stay in the mix. I got guys that a lot of friends that coach, head coaches at like varsity teams and stuff. A lot of guys run AAU programs. I used to ref a lot too, so I'm just around it. I can't shake it.
Who would you say is someone like from out here we should keep an eye on, like, or someone that you think have a shot
Right now?
maybe not even like, I'm not saying NBA, but someone we should just keep your eye on, maybe like D1.
Oh yeah, definitely my guy Jaden Moore.
Okay. Yeah, I think I follow him.
Point guard at Hopkins.
Yep.
Going to his sophomore year. His fourth year of varsity.
Wait, hold up. What?
His fourth year of varsity.
And he's a sophomore?
Sophomore at Hopkins.
That's a lot of pressure. That's a lot of talent.
He's very good. He's very good. He put up about 20, 21 a game last year. Nationally ranked.
Yeah.
Little dude too. He just gifted naturally. I've been knowing him since he was a baby, and his dad would bring him to the shop when he get his hair cut and stuff, and we had the PlayStation at the shop, so a lot of times I wouldn't get no haircuts. Playing the game, playing 2K at the shop. And he's like literally like a 1-year-old. He's sitting there. I'm dead serious. Like you can't hear a peep out of him. He's like watching us play the game, quiet, like locked in, like tunnel vision. I'm telling his dad, like, dude, he's like really paying attention to what we're doing. Like
right.
he ain't just being a baby. Like he's taking this in. And he's like, man, you're tripping or whatever. I'm like, I don't know, dude. I ain't never seen no kid, be that focused like that. And a couple years later, he's like 4 years old playing against older kids, starting to play travel ball. Just really, really, really naturally gifted. Great handle, great IQ. He gets it. So I think he's on the right track. Stay focused, of course.
You're right.
Yeah, but as long as he stays focused, he's gonna do some big things. He really is. He really is.
The way you described him sounds almost like a beginning of a movie.
It does. Like 4 years old, like he knew it since he was coming up, and I've talked to him before. I actually, I think I was telling you he's very mature. I thought he was like 7. Yeah, yes. I thought he was like 17.
Yes.
The way he just kind of like so he just answers questions like a grown man, and I was like, wait, how old is the bro? You're like, man, he's a freshman. I was like, that's crazy.
He's definitely very poised. He got mom and dad.
Right.
He grew up in church, so very grounded. Which I think that matters. I think that kind of stuff matters. You're being stable and stuff. So they got a good plan going right now. So you just got to stick with it and keep them humble and stay focused. It's easy to get distracted.
Right. For sure.
He has a huge social media following.
Yeah, I follow. I think.
Yeah, man. So he's doing all the little NBA young boy stuff and all that. So,
I sound getting a little gritty.
Man, mess around, be John Moran out here playing around. So, you gotta check him every once in a while and bring him back down to earth. But yeah,
good mentorship. Good mentorship right there.
Oh, always. And all these kids, like I know a lot of guys that made it to the league and stuff. I don't ever treat them no different than I ever did. To me, y'all still a kid that I knew growing up the whole time. I treat you the same way. I approach you the same way. I show you love and respect, but I ain't gonna give you no pass because you got a contract or something.
Good,
so,
yeah. Which is good. I think that's needed for most people. You ain't better than me. You know what I mean? So
no.
But at the same time, you like you're doing right now. I'm gonna show you respect, show love because you're a talented person.
Yeah.
But yeah, man. Hey, shout out to him. I didn't get him on the podcast, but I'm gonna see about that later because I do want to talk to athletes. That's all I did as a kid. I played football. I did track and field, and it kind of. The more I look back at it now, it made me more disciplined than probably the average person.
and it did take a while to hit. But I go to the gym just because like it's just a normal thing to do.
Yep.
I think a lot of athletes are like that. Where I go for a walk, I have to move because that's what I'm used to doing. So it's always good to have a good habit from a young age, and being a top athlete, you have to build on those good habits.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's embedded in you, you know.
So, right.
It should be.
It
I
should
mean,
be,
yeah, if you're
right.
serious, you know, you should have a work ethic and a training schedule and, you know, all that kind of stuff. It all matters. It
Mhm.
all matters. I know a lot of guys who were super gifted, but they couldn't, you know, they didn't want to they didn't want to work out. They didn't
Yeah.
want to lift. They didn't
Yep.
want to they didn't want to practice, you know. So they didn't make it as far as they could have or at all
Mhm.
because of those type of things, you
It's
know.
like it's crazy how not being motivated can mess up everything. I think that for myself. Like if I was more motivated in high school for football, I probably would been better off. But so learning at a younger age is a good thing to have because then it goes into your just life skills.
Mm-hmm.
So I met you through being a barber. Um, I was trying to find someone to cut my hair closer to home. I was going out to Egan where my folks are at, and someone gave me your name. That's how I got to know you.
That's crazy.
When did you start cutting hair? What was like when did you think I'm gonna start doing this and make keep it moving? Like were you cutting hair in high school?
I
Or?
was.
Okay.
I was like the team barber guy,
Okay.
messing up everybody's head before games.
Is that how you got practicing?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. You know, like I cut you for free. Like I got you. I could do this. And back then, haircuts was nowhere near as nice or fancy as they are nowadays. So it didn't take as much, you know. But I was doing that then, and then I, you know, once I got out of high school and stuff, I kind of always wanted to have that under my belt, even if it wasn't something I was going to actually do for a living. I had a couple jobs and they didn't go nowhere. So I'm like, man, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and go to barber school.
Okay.
This is back in like '03.
Okay.
Yeah, so I've been cutting hair professionally since '04.
Damn.
So it'll be 20 years next year.
So it's easy to you now, right?
Yeah, it's
That's
like
crazy.
I don't even know where that time went, honestly. You know, it's just a blur. But you know, it's cool. It's been good to me. You know, I don't complain. I get lazy, tired sometimes.
I
but
get it.
it
I
can
mean,
be.
how many? I mean, you probably cut like what 20, 30 heads a day, right?
No.
I'm tripping. Like 10?
Probably like 10 to 15.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like to overexert myself too
That
much.
makes sense.
Yeah, I think less is more sometimes, you know, instead of earlier on in the game, I try, I got to cut everybody, you know, I'll start at 9 a.m., leave at 10, 11 o'clock at night. Man, I'd be so broke down and dead. And, you know, as you get halfway through the day, you ain't giving a good service no more. You know, you're frustrated, you're cranky. I don't like that. So when I opened up my shop that you come to now, as in 2019, I just
That's recent.
Yeah, it was right before a pandemic. Right before a pandemic. And I was like, I don't want to do it the traditional way no more. I'm not doing no more walk-ins. I'm doing appointments only. Like, it's going to be real private, real intimate, real personal. And people thought I was crazy. Like, how you have a shop and not have no walk-ins? And no one even know you're in that building because, you know, I'm up on the second floor. You wouldn't even know I'm there if not there for what you're there for, you know? So a lot of people were skeptical, but I'm like, no, it'll work. It's cool. Like, I've been doing it long enough. I got a big enough clientele. It'll be fine. And sure enough, it did. It's been great. It actually was
bet on yourself.
Yeah, because as soon as people just catch on to it, they will fall in love.
They're gonna come.
Yep.
Yeah, they're gonna come. And it actually was kind of groundbreaking because once pandemic hit and they shut us down for the 4 or 5 months they shut us down for, they were like, once you reopen, you have to do appointment only, and you got to have the social distancing.
Yeah.
And you can only have one person in at a time. I'm like, I already do that anyway. So it was perfect for me.
That's crazy.
Yeah, so it's actually kind of like it kind of like led a lot of guys into having that approach.
I think that's why I gravitate towards you. Obviously, you were like right by the crib, but like you didn't have anybody in there. You know what I mean? So I went to you during the pandemic, and it was nobody in there, and it was a bet. And then now that it's not the pandemic, I like it a lot more because you have a lot of people come in there.
Yeah,
we had dope conversations, stuff
every
like
time.
that. To take it back though, I wish that's another thing I wish I would have been good at cutting hair because I was in this kind of like being the black culture. When I was in college, like that's a hustle. You know what I mean? I got a cousin out in Alabama. Shout out VJ. He's doing this thing cutting hair. He's in college.
Okay.
And that dude, that's a different color. That dude is gifted in a lot of different ways.
Yeah.
But he's out here cutting hair and he's showing it off. Like it's a hustle, but it's like it's a needed it's an asset in your community.
Yeah, it's definitely we were people were making a really big deal, man, like during that time. It was like borderline life or death for some people. Like
Hell yeah.
I mean, ain't nothing even open right now. Like the world shut down, but man, people were ready to risk it all for a haircut. They was ready, meeting all kinds of times of night and making sure nobody watching. I'm like, this is
Seriously.
crazy, but like this is like I need this for like my mental health. Like,
Yeah.
I need to feel
No.
better about myself. You know,
When I had more hair, I was one of them people. I didn't want to go nowhere unless my hair. I used to have like the waves. I had the 360. You know, so I didn't go nowhere without a haircut.
wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
I'm not getting a haircut. I'm at the crib. Like this is how I was kind of wired in college, and so man, our culture loves a good haircut. It don't matter. You may not be going nowhere.
I got a question for Levorn. Like,
Yes,
I
sir.
mean, like, not even our culture. It seems like all across the board, all cultures, like, hair is important.
That's
Like,
true. Yeah, that's true.
You as a barber, why do you think that is? Or
I think people are just kind of just naturally vain to a certain degree, you know,
Okay.
and you know, it's a self confidence thing. It's a look good, feel good type of thing. So I think that's, you know, it's, for men in particular. I saw a study one time and they said the number one leading depressant in males is hair loss.
I believe that.
More than finances, more than failed marriages,
Yep.
you know, weight, anything. Losing your hair is the number one depressant in males.
Yeah.
Yeah. So obviously this is very important to us, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
and I guess, you know, you look at yourself in the mirror, this the first thing you see, you know, if everything's looking together, you probably will feel a little better about yourself. I used to be that way. I'm not no more. I'll go like 2 months without a haircut.
But you have hair though. Like
Maybe it's why.
like it's different. Like I'm losing my hair, so
Uh-huh.
like when my hair grows out, it'll be a little more thin, but my side is thick like it used to be when I was a kid. So I have to keep my hair cut low. And I do feel better about myself, and that makes a lot of sense. I did not like my hair during the pandemic.
Mm.
I did not have a good barber. Well, not saying that he was a good barber, but not the barber that I wanted. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I got
Not
you.
close to my area. And so yeah, I can understand that, and which is also weird because like naturally men just lose their hair. That's just what like it's
Yeah,
weird that we
but
get so depressed.
as somebody who had to come to a namaste
Yeah.
with my hands,
Right.
and now it ain't staying. It's just like, yeah, I did have those moments of like fighting, trying to keep it,
Right.
and like I did have to get to a point where I was like, nah, I'm actually cool with it.
Yeah, it is. what
Are
it
you
is.
bald?
Yeah,
Oh, really?
yeah,
Okay.
fresh out.
I guess so, yeah.
Clean.
It looks
It don't
good.
look, sometimes we out wear the cat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It don't be looking. I'm like, he got the beard.
yeah, but
He look like he got a head full of hair, some waves or something.
no, I'm bald.
Wow.
But you know, once you start losing it up here, it comes
Yeah.
down here in your fucking chest and your arms.
Yeah,
That
my-
shit
Where
is
else, right?
My
yeah, I
beard
can't grow a
got-
beard for nothing.
Yeah, I have a lot of friends. That's true. I have a lot of friends out there, head full of hair, and you know, at my age, but yeah, they don't have any facial hair. I wonder if there's something scientifically to that. I don't know.
It's a
but-
trade-off, man. It's a trade-off. Yeah.
I don't like this trade.
So,
Yeah, right.
So you struggled with it personally as well, a little bit.
I'm sorry.
When you first started losing your hair, you struggled a little bit.
Yeah, I tried to do the whole haircuts and the fades to make it all
Okay.
blend in, and then tried like the whole little keeps treatment and shit,
Mhm.
and it wasn't coming through.
Mm-hmm.
And at that point, like I used to break dance much more hard at that point, and at first I thought it was just from trying to do too many head spins.
Okay.
So that was also part of coping and denial, if you want to put it at that.
Sure. Sure.
And eventually, I want to say like when I was like maybe 25, is when I was just like, yo, ain't no point
You
to
cut it off.
Yeah. And also, it's funny enough because reading up on Buddhist monks, part of the reason why they do shave their head, because I guess it's an ultimate sign of surrender and peace.
Mm.
It's
Really?
to show that you're totally, I guess you're okay with being who you are in your skin. And also,
Mhm.
yeah, so that's why they shave themselves bald. So, which I totally believe with what you just say.
Yes.
And also with the experience I went through.
Okay.
where it's like,
Interesting.
yeah.
That's real interesting. I've never heard that before.
But I guess hair is an important thing.
Yeah.
Going back on topic.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Yeah, people were going crazy because they couldn't get a haircut. I mean, I saw it recently at the barber shop. So
Yeah.
if people like to get the haircut,
You've seen some incidents.
it was funny.
You seen
We gonna talk about that.
Yeah,
too,
whatever. That's a
but,
different show. Different.
that was funny, but no, that's dope. And so you've been doing that since 2003.
Mm-hmm.
And you also just mentioned like you're a personal chef, or you can cook some food. At the end of the day, you can cook really. I've had your food before.
Mm-hmm.
When did that happen? When did that become another tool in your utility belt?
It was definitely again like when I was younger in high school and still cutting hairs. This kind of same thing. I used to cook a lot at home, watching my mom. I'm the youngest out of 3. And my brothers are significantly older, so they were gone. So it was just me and my mom a lot of times.
Okay.
And Mom, how you make this, or how you make gravy, or you know how you put that together. So I just always absorbed things from her, and just took that for myself. From just when I got on my own, I would cook for myself all the time. Start having kids, cooking for them. And the personal chef part of it that didn't become a thing till the pandemic either. Honestly,
Are you dead ass?
seriously, yeah.
So when I met you, that's when
That just
like
that all just happened.
bro, I thought you've been cooking personal chefing for
No.
years. Okay.
Pandemic was it was hard obviously for most people, but for me personally, it was great. I found myself with a lot of things.
Want a beer? My bad. Bro.
I'm all right. I'm all right. Y'all good. It opened up a lot of doors and just kind of like created lanes to try things that I probably thought about before, but just didn't, or just hesitated for whatever reason. I'm like, let's give it a shot, see what happens. And it's taken off since then, honestly.
So, Vern, you're one of them people who were like, if you didn't get a hustle during the pandemic, you just don't got no hustle in you, huh? Like, damn,
See,
bro.
I'm not even like a cliche person like
No,
that.
no.
Yeah, so, if you did, you did. If you didn't, you didn't. It's up to you. But you definitely should have, because there's definitely a lot of different opportunities going on at that time.
Yep.
And it just kind of, more than anything, I think it's opened up people's eyes to like a different way of just going about stuff. It's just, you can be very non-traditional with certain things and still be successful. And so
that's dope.
I'm always with that. I'm always with trying new things and trying a different approach, and see where things go. So yeah, it's been good so far. It's been good. I've had a lot of good opportunities. I cooked for the Timberwolves quite a few times. I've been on Channel 4 a couple times. I won a cooking competition last summer.
No shit.
Yeah, I've had some opportunities. I mean, it's really just social media more than anything.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll cook at home. I'll post it. People like it. I want that. Let me make that for me. Okay. I go over there and make it for them. They share it. It just keeps blowing up from there. It's not nothing. No training, no schooling, no nothing. Like,
but cooking is an art where it's like, I guess, like if you start expressing yourself on it and you understand how to do it.
Absolutely. You can definitely, express yourself through your food. It can say a lot about you in your food.
Yeah,
you got a good. What do they say? You got a good palate, obviously. Like you have to have a good. Like not everybody can be a good cook. Well, I don't know. Maybe I think you can. I guess if you work at it, but
I don't know. I mean, I don't think I'm the most. I'm not a super picky eater, but I don't like eat everything. I just started eating sushi like the last couple months.
That's right. We talked about
that. Like I was disgusted by sushi 2 months ago, but people love sushi, so it's like it just finally grew on me. So there's like a lot of things that a lot of people enjoy that I just don't, So I just figured I'd make it more about like what makes sense. Like it's sweet, it's sour, it's salty, it's spicy, and just balancing flavors, acid, like lemon, squeeze lemon on this to kind of bring down whatever, other than that, it's just what I think would be good and what goes good together.
Cause like I don't know if everybody can. I don't know. I don't know if everybody can do that because like to know a squeeze of lemon will make that taste good. You know what I mean? Like you think I don't know if everybody has that type of thought process, but then again I don't know. I guess you just fuck around and try it out, right? Try
trial
it out
and error.
And see what it is.
A lot of trial and error. A lot of stuff don't work. That ain't good. Like. That didn't work out,
I'm gonna eat it, but this.
I made it now. I ain't waste my money, but that ain't that good together. Right. But for the most part, I try to keep it simple and then just try to elevate simple things
Okay.
and just keep kind of building off of that. There's only so many different things to eat, as far as I'm concerned. It's chicken, it's beef, it's seafood, it's pork,
Right.
and whatever side you mix with it, whether it's rice, potatoes, or a green vegetable, whatever it is. So you just find different combinations of a lot of the same things and come up with different creations.
So when someone's like, "Hey, Vern, I need you," you know what I'm saying? I need you to cook me something. I got 30 people, and I want finger food.
Mm-hmm.
How do you figure out the price? Because that's very like for example, you catered my girl's cousin's baby shower,
Mm-hmm.
and it was perfect. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Thank
the
you.
food was
Appreciate
amazing, and it made sense. I mean, that was like that's what everybody talked about. How did you like? 'Cause I don't know if we even gave you any. I didn't know much about what they told you. I guess,
Right.
but like, how did you know that will work? like you know what I'm saying? Because like not everybody can. That's a very vague thing. Finger food, appetizers, nothing heavy.
Yeah.
Like, how do you know it's like boom, chicken wings, or like it was so perfect, and everybody was saying like it's enough food. I don't feel heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Like just commenting on like how this all worked.
It's a lot of it starts with just talking to the client and figuring out, what type of vision they have, what type of event they're having. Is it going to be sit down dinner? Is it going to be finger foods, appetizers, like you said? What's the occasion? And then a lot of times you got to talk people into a certain direction.
Okay.
Like that doesn't really go with what you're trying to do.
Right.
Like you have an all white affair, like but you got barbecue or something. Like no, that don't go together. So
Right.
let's clean it up a little bit, things like that. So we start with that, and then I'll say, okay, well, how many people do we expect? Oh, we're expecting 40 people. Okay, well, so now I start doing my numbers in my head. I'm like, okay, well, it's 40 people. So what I normally do is I'll charge a certain amount per person. Let's just say $10 a person. So it's $10 a person plus food costs. So $400 plus whatever I spend on food supplies. I don't care. And then at that point, it's up to you what you want. That's how much I'll spend on the supplies, and then we'll have the final number after that. And even once you present it that way, that kind of helps people kind of figure out what their budget is and how much realistically they want to spend, and if it makes sense for them, or
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, it took a long time to get there though. It really did.
So you just hang on, sorry to interrupt. So
No,
you
you're
just
good.
charge them at cost plus, I guess, whatever, like per head kind of thing.
Yeah.
So they cover your costs and
That
like
helps.
pay the ticket. and
Yeah,
all.
it's your food.
Yeah.
It's your food, so I'm not paying for the food. Like, but I think a lot of people who cater or whatever they do, they make that mistake, and they'll say, "Oh, it's gonna be whatever amount," and that includes everything. But then you go shopping and
Everything kind of piles up.
like that's not on sale this week, or a ribeye steak costs more than chicken breast. So it's like before you know it, your number's coming down more. So it's like I had to come up with a way to make it fair for me and for you, to where it makes sense for both of us. And it took me, like I said, it took me a while, but I watched some videos, I did some research. I'm like, that makes the most sense.
Okay, so you adjust, like, I guess, the ticket price per person based on how much it's gonna cost you.
Yeah, like whatever you as the client, whatever you want, I'll make that. Just whatever it costs, you're paying for that. So if you want all,
that makes sense.
surf and turf,
Yeah,
that's fine.
Yeah.
But you're gonna pay for
Right.
it. That has nothing to do with my number.
Right.
And however many people you want me to make it for is what I'm gonna charge. That's what I'm gonna base how much I make off of. And then people be like, well, we don't know for sure if we're gonna get that many, or we might get more. Hey,
You need to confirm.
that's up to you.
Yeah.
I'm making enough
I
for
like that.
40
Okay.
people,
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and usually, honestly, people usually are having too much food.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most
You know,
occasions.
people
Overestimate.
all the time, like no one's gonna, I mean, it doesn't just usually go that way. I don't know why. It's just people get
But you
more
also
than
want
what
to
they need.
please everybody.
I think so.
Yeah.
And that's good,
Yeah.
or you want to make sure people can go back and have seconds and thirds.
Yeah.
But usually, from what I see, I've never seen no one not have enough food. They usually have too much food.
Well, it's better to overbid
Than
than
under.
underbid.
Yeah, I guess I would say so.
So that makes a lot of sense. I mean, it hurts your pockets probably, but I mean, it's probably if we're gonna have an event, it's better to overbid. Even when it comes to the person making the food, if I was making food, I think I'd do it like you too, like because if I come with less food than you need it, then I'm looking bad. So I'm just gonna make you. Hey, this is what you're gonna pay for, and then it's gonna be good regardless. If it's, you know what I mean?
Well, look at the event you guys had a couple weeks back.
Right,
I think it was a great spread of food. You know,
right. She did a good job.
Did you guys have too much or
It was still a lot of food left.
a lot of food left?
Right.
Exactly. So something like that. If it were me, I would do less. If it's gone,
Shit
it's
on
gone.
food.
You know.
Yeah,
If it's
that
gone,
makes
it's
sense.
gone. You get here.
yeah,
Once it's there, it's there. Have at it.
Right.
You know, because then what do you do with all this extra stuff? You know, you're giving it away
Yeah, take it
anyway.
home.
for
Yeah,
taking it, or
yeah.
you're
That
throwing
makes
it
sense.
away. You know, but a lot of times when it's like an event, like that involves like partying and drinking or something like that, people ain't trying to really eat that much.
They're
for
trying to drink.
They're trying
So
to
it depends on it depends on the event. So
Yeah.
sometimes you don't want to have you don't want a lot of food
Nah.
because you're not there to eat. You're there
I'm
to,
here to party.
not
Yeah.
to get too drunk.
I'm gonna be lit.
Yeah, that makes sense.
If you eat, it takes away my buzz.
So
you know?
when it comes to getting food, if you're an event if you're the one planning the event, you should know how many people are going to be there. Give you a good estimate how. See, that's based on the person who's reaching out to you. Then
For sure.
so all you can do is do what they say.
Absolutely.
Hmm.
And that's really hard. It's really hard for people to have that much control over their own decisions. They're used to like, well, is there a
Yeah.
menu or what are my options?
I
Or
hate that. Yeah,
I mean, it's whatever you want. You tell me.
Yeah.
You know, it's like I gotta think about it. I'll call you back. I'll let you know. It's like, all right, that's cool. You know, a lot of people just get shook. They get frustrated. But it's like this is what I take pride in. Like you can customize whatever you want. You can, whatever way you want to set it up. It's all you have full control over that, And then people just, it's different. That's not normally how it is. You normally you go somewhere, you order off a menu.
Right.
This is what we have. So it's an adjustment, but it's worked out for the most part. And if I'm not booked, that's okay too. I enjoy having the time off, just chilling and relaxing and playing a game or something or whatever. So
because like you also throw events,
yes.
but you don't need. I guess you're not asking people for food, right? If you're throwing an event, I mean, you can probably handle that, right? So it's like
I've done both.
so like how so basically what I'm saying, if you were gonna have an event
Mm-hmm.
and you wanted food catered, you need some type of system to make sure you know the amount of people who are gonna be at your event to figure out the food.
For my own event?
Yeah, but like a Facebook invite or like a event.
Yeah, you try to get a head count.
Okay.
You try to get a head count as much as possible and just go off of that, A lot of times, people say they're coming, they don't,
Mhm.
If you make a Facebook event, everyone says they're going, you're probably gonna get half those people,
Right.
So,
rule of thumb, half of the people are going
You know
to
what I mean?
on your invite.
yeah, it's like they have good intentions, but
Mhm.
they might forget or
Mhm.
something whatever it is. So you just try to estimate what you think is going to be and, gauge it off of that and go from there. But again, I've never had a situation where there wasn't enough, whether it was me doing it or
Right.
I'm doing it for someone else. So
And so in making that transition, I see you kind of like you do a lot of parties out here, a lot of events, kind of like a voice out here, in my opinion. I don't, that's in my opinion.
okay.
When did you start being like it's not you're not a promoter in my opinion. Like you throw the event, like you're doing a lot. Like it's kind of your events. What made you start doing that? Why? I'm sure you enjoy it, but like, what was like the first like? I'm gonna get into this world, I guess.
Yeah, we first started doing events with one of my good friends, TJ. Back when we were in our 20s, we would have parties and we would have great turnouts. Like it'd be packed and it'd be fun and never had no issues or anything. But we were so busy trying to have fun and dance and kick it too that we didn't make no money because we didn't want to watch the door or
Right.
we weren't good. We
Mhm.
weren't good at organizing stuff and doing it the right way. So we kind of went our separate ways for a while and came back around years later and did a couple things. We did a couple things here actually.
Okay.
and they were great. They were great. They were successful, and I got the fire back in my belly to do it again. So we did a few things, and he kind of just started doing some different things in life. So I'm like, well, I want to keep going,
Right.
So I just started partnering with other promoters, started doing my own events. And my partner now, S Dot, DJ S Dot.
Shout out.
Shout out S Dot DJ, you see me.
Shout out.
We did I hired him for a lot of events, and we just had this great chemistry, and I would say like 99% of our events were just like super fun and successful. So I'm like, I approached him one time, like, man, let's, instead of me hiring you for the event, let's just do it together. Like, let's just be partners, that we got more skin in the game. You be more motivated to promote and, get
Right.
into it behind the scenes. And
Yep.
yeah, we haven't stopped since then. I think we did our first one back in, maybe that might have been 2019 before pandemic, and it was crazy. It was great, and we just been doing it ever since then. And for the most part, we've done pretty well. We had one or two that weren't what we expected, but we got a good following. Very diverse crowd, very diverse, wide age range, different nationalities, all that. It's cool. It's cool.
I'm going the next one. I saw it over Labor Day weekend. I gotta go. I've been saying I'm
September
gonna go.
3rd.
Yep.
At the Exchange. So he and I are partnered with my other friends, Chris Pham
Okay.
and Jermaine Court. They do Friday nights at the Exchange now.
Oh.
R&B and chill. And also DJ Inferno, who does a lot of the nights down there. So the five of us are all coming together
Yeah.
and doing that Sunday night. So
I'll be there.
it's gonna be huge.
I'm gonna try to get the old lady out, but she's been working hard on some architect stuff. So
Okay,
we
gotta be focused for that.
that's the thing. Like the reason I haven't gone. Shout out Lisa. We know Lisa from making a film. So I
Shout
don't
out
wanna,
Lisa Moy.
Yeah, shout out Lisa
Yeah.
Moore. She's doing big things out here. And stuff. I want to with my girl because they're cool. So I'm like, I gotta make sure you're good to go. We gotta go support.
Mm-hmm.
But that's dope, bro. How much time we got on the recording? About 30, 40 minutes in?
We're about 38 minutes in.
We're gonna take a quick break, you know what I'm saying? We'll get back to it. You don't gotta start recording, but
Whew.
I'm always wondering what people out here who are shaking and baking what they think about the Minnesota scene. Because I always hear the same thing that I think. You know what I mean? Like, oh, we're kind of cliquey. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I didn't even know so and so was gonna have an event. Because if I'm not tapped into that, I have no idea.
It's true. It is.
And I know there's some fuck shit that happens a lot with these events and these promoters. Like, I've heard rumors. I'm not gonna get into that too much. So I get that happens too, but I don't know. I rather support and then have to retract my support because you did some fuck shit. Other than like, I'm not supporting you because I'm in this side of the, I'm with these people.
Yeah.
And support people, man. They're out here working hard.
Even that, like that's a touchy thing, Like I'm supporting you. Something happened. I might not even know all the details.
Exactly.
Now all of a sudden I'm not supporting you because I heard.
Right. That's
now
true
I'm not
too.
no better than the people that I feel like don't support each other.
That's true. Right.
So it's like I can't. You just gotta be very conscious of who you associate yourself with and what you do support, what you get behind.
Right.
If you're and just do your homework and whatever, because things can change so quickly. It's like you could be great today and a monster tomorrow because someone said something.
Someone said, and it may not be true.
Said something.
No, that can't.
Someone accused you.
That's
Someone
true.
had a bad night.
That's
Someone's
true.
mad because you didn't let them in.
Man.
Now all of a sudden they beat me up or whatever. It's like it could be anything.
There's been so many, man, and I want to get, but there's been so many stories like that. Well, so and so did that, and they tear this person down just to find out that accusation was a lie.
It wasn't that at all.
But-
It wasn't that at all.
But
Yeah.
they still have to deal with that label that put on them, even though they didn't do it.
Absolutely.
That's crazy. We gotta
That's
do
the
better.
world. That's the world we live
We
in.
gotta do better.
That's not even a Minnesota thing. That's
No,
It's
no.
just a world
that's-
thing.
that's
Like
just
that
the world.
negative will stick even when you're acquitted of all those other things.
Yes, like you're guilty till proven innocent.
Yeah.
With this stuff.
But then it makes people hypersensitive of what they say. You know what I mean? So now you have to watch everything you say, and now are you really being your authentic self?
That too.
That's the question.
But there's a way to do both.
And
There's a way to be
that's
yourself.
That's what I
still-
agree. I agree with
You just
that.
gotta, be conscious of what you're saying.
Yeah.
You just can't just blurt whatever out.
Yeah.
You can't just,
Be conscious and be in
you just have
reality.
to be aware. Yeah. But that doesn't mean you're being fake. You're just being.
No. And I don't think if you go back on what you said, you're being fake. You say, you know what? I said some wrong shit. I'm gonna own up to that. I know at some point on this podcast I will say some dumb shit. I have to come back and be like, you know what? That's some dumb shit. I shouldn't have said that. So I think if we have that humility in your head, you'll be
Yeah.
fine. No matter what you do, you'll be fine.
Yeah. I was watching something recently. I think it was like Neo.
Okay.
He's talking to some lady about
The musician Neo?
yeah,
Okay.
and he's talking about like children identifying, their sexuality or whatever. And
Right.
He was very, very firm with his stance with that. Like, I don't believe in that. I don't support that. They're children. Like, they don't know what we shouldn't be engaging into these sexual things with them.
Mhm.
Before we're saying if they're a boy or a girl or whatever, and that's how you felt. And then of course people start coming down on him, whatever. And I think he apologized for if anyone who was offended. I apologize that they're offended. I'm not taking back my statement. That's how I feel.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But I apologize if I offended you. I'm like, that's real. Like that's the best way to do that.
I
you know?
think in society, and I'm not saying right or wrong. That's not my argument. We have to hear people say that. You have to let people have that.
Yeah.
Though I didn't mean to offend you, that's still my opinion.
Yes.
Well,
And that's
my view.
okay.
That's my viewpoint. Yeah.
That's okay.
It's
And
okay.
he's not saying he's right. He's just saying that's my view.
That's how I see it.
And until my opinion changes, that's what I'm gonna be like.
And you don't have to conform to my mindset.
No, no, he's
Not at
not
all.
saying that.
Just
But
like, just like how you feel is how you feel.
Yeah.
We have completely different outlooks on the same thing.
yeah,
And that's okay.
Yeah.
You can't say I'm right or wrong. You can't, we just have to agree to disagree.
and that's just the bad side of society or social media. Sorry, is that they in social media, not in when you have dialogue, it's different.
Right. It seems like you can, just the way it is. Like, it seems like if you disagree with somebody means you're completely enemies. It's like, no, we can disagree and still sit at the same table.
For
Shit,
sure.
And we can ride in the same car and disagree.
It's okay.
So-
It's okay. But you're right. It's like if I don't see it the same as you, then you're my enemy. Yeah,
It can't be
no.
like
It's
that.
like, yeah.
Hey, like I just don't agree
It's
with
not
that.
society. It's not. That's not a normal society. It's not. They're not.
At the end of the day, we both want to have a safe life.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, we're going to have some disagreements, but we
Yes.
still want to be able to be safe and take our kids to a safe school or whatever it might
Absolutely,
be.
whatever the case may be.
But social media is black or white. It's not a gray area. It's not like two can be. Like, you can't have the same thought process. Like you can't have two. What is it called? Two mindsets on the same subject.
Mm.
You can't have that on social media.
Two things can't be true. At the
Two
same
things
time.
can't be true at the same time on social media. And I like even sports arguments I get into. Like like Mike Jordan is a GOAT, but also I can see why people would say Kobe's like. I'm not saying they're wrong or right, but you can't have the argument on social media. You have to choose one.
Yeah, it doesn't get like that.
It is like, damn, man,
At the end
like
of the day, we're both watching the same game. So
Yep.
don't
right. It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it really doesn't matter for real. But it's like you might think person A might say Jordan's the greatest because they grew up in the 80s and that's what they saw. Person B grew up in the 2000s. They saw LeBron. Like it makes sense why
Yeah,
you think that.
right.
So it's like it's not like it's far fetched or someone's out of line. And the numbers and the stats and the accomplishments it supports it. It supports the argument, the point of view. So it's like it ain't crazy.
No,
It ain't crazy or whoever else you say.
I think I think it's a dope timing right now that we're figuring out that both can be true.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there is no right answer to every single argument. There's just an answer that, from your perspective, that you can give because of your perspective. Is it factual to a point? Yes,
Yeah.
but I think because the facts is only like what we observe. Like, end of the day, it's not like you know what I mean. Like, we can only see the fact that we see on paper. like that's been told to
Oh,
us.
yeah, I guess effects is something you could still go back and retest and get
Like science is
and
the
get
biggest.
the same answer no
Yeah.
matter if
Yeah,
knowledge is lost. You know.
and I might be wrong, and we're going way off.
Yeah, we're all over this right now.
But I think science is always studying what's known to be true, not that it's always gonna be what it is. You know what I mean?
It can still change.
Science is always changing, but people argue science because it changes. So that's not what science is.
Right.
Science is always changing because we learn new information every year.
Mhm.
Yeah, but also at the same time, though, with science, it's like all that data can still be regathered. Like if civilization was to lose everything right now, all that scientific data will come back the same exact way. So
Yeah,
that's why
yep.
it stays
To the
factual.
point where you got to, it'll
Yeah.
all come back that way.
That even a caveman would still, if they had the right tools, they would collect that same data, and that's
Yeah.
what makes it factual.
That makes it factual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's measurable.
Exactly.
You know?
But things like I mean, we learned something recently, like what is it? Like the whole, and I don't want to get, we're way off topic, but like the UFO situation. People are still denying that the UFOs. They're saying there's no such thing as aliens. Well, I can't say that. But they're basically telling you that factual evidence is showing you there are UFO, like unidentified flying. They call it something different now. Like
I don't know.
it's
It's a UFO.
it's unidentified.
Flying object.
Foreign object?
No, unidentified flying object. So it could be this can flying really
they
fast
call it
past you. That is a UFO.
Whatever it is.
There was
it's UFO.
a whole Senate
Just-
hearing about it, and they called it something different. If my dad was here, he would know.
Something different than unidentified.
It's the same thing, but it's
Yeah.
a different wording because of we have drones, and so they kind of changed it to make
to
sense.
make sure you're talking about that.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly.
Mm.
And they were discussing these things that didn't make any human sense, and people start arguing that there's UFO. Like this is the government telling you. Like I'm not saying it's like all facts, right?
Yeah.
But they're literally telling you, no, we've seen this. This is what we've seen.
Yeah. And unfortunately, there's no other way I can test that data. So
Yeah, I can't go
Right.
test it.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All I could go off is what I was.
What you're
What I've
saying.
seen.
Yeah.
So it may not be. So it may not be true, right?
I don't know.
But
I don't have the stuff that they have.
Yeah.
you have what you got, because they gave.
Based on what I got, I would say yeah.
Yeah, so
All I,
like
can,
it's.
all I can do is look up at the sky.
I see something.
Yeah, all right.
I don't know what that is.
saying that, like, and they bring it back that we have to fall on like everybody kind of now wants you to think the same way, and it's yes, I mean, though I can see your point, I can see other people's point too. And I'm not saying anybody's right or wrong, but we have to get more on that and leave people alone. That's the biggest thing. I mean, you gotta leave people alone, man. That's my biggest thing.
That's how they want to think and feel and view things.
That's cool.
More power to
And
them.
I think if you have different mindsets, you'll be a better society in the long run. You know what I mean? You're gonna have more technology. You're gonna get different perspectives and stuff because you never thought about it that way.
Yeah.
So I mean, though I understand traditionalists and I understand how they feel, I'm a two consciousness person. I think in two different ways.
Mhm.
That's all. I've always been like that.
Mhm.
So, I think kind of taking it back to art, we have to let people be artists and let people say what they want to say sometimes. Like, I didn't like Kanye West for a minute, but now I look back at it, I'm like, I can see some of his points. And I'm not saying now about the Jewish stuff. Not saying that. I'm not gonna get into that. But I'm saying like when he talks about like his IP and like how you have to make your own stuff and how like people will judge you before they know you. I can understand where he's coming from in that certain aspect. Is he crazy? Yeah, but I can think in two different ways.
Absolutely.
So
I think he said a lot of things that, I kind of understand what he's saying,
yeah,
whether I agree or not.
That's what it is.
Yeah, I understand. I understand what he's saying or why he's saying it or what point he's probably attempting to make. Whether I agree or not is a different story. But you're not like I don't know. Oh, you're just crazy. Like
No,
I don't know. There's reasons why he sees it that way.
Right.
Feels that way.
Right.
There's things that he's experienced
right.
that has led to him doing things the way he does. You know. So it's like I try to be open to people's viewpoints. With everything to a certain degree. So I be feeling Kanye in a lot of stuff, honestly.
And I don't hold Kanye West the same accountability I would hold my politicians, and that's just who I am. I don't hold a doctor to the same accountability that I would hold my gym trainer. You know what I'm saying? So like, if you're on the national stage and you're running for public office where you can make a change in my entire life, I hold you way more accountable than Kanye West. He's not a politician. He's just some artist talking about his view on the world. So like, is it dumb sometimes? Sure, in my opinion. But like, I don't have time to hate him. I don't have time to, you know what I mean? Not mess with Kanye. Like we got to get out of that cancel mindset sometimes because it doesn't help at the end of the day.
I think a big one that people were upset by was when he said slavery was a choice.
Yeah.
Come on, man. Like that's a dumb thing to say.
That was a little bit crossing the line on that one. Not even
But
crossing.
not that I agree. But think about it like this. He said slavery is a choice. So I think what he was trying to say is we didn't choose to be slaves per se, but we chose to stay enslaved versus rebelling or, fighting for our lives in certain situations. I'm assuming what he's saying is people just accepted what their punishment was, so to speak. So like a couple weeks back when the whole incident happened with the boat thing in Alabama,
Right.
and the white people, they was tripping. They jumped the white people.
The whole chair and everything. Got that.
We got that boat.
Right.
We made a stand.
Mm-hmm.
They took action.
Mm-hmm.
So to me, that's kind of a example of what he might have been trying to say. Like with slavery was a choice. Like we could have said no, we're not doing this no more. I don't care what happens at the end of the day, but you're not gonna keep treating me like this.
I'd rather die than be a slave.
So I'm gonna kill some of y'all. I'm gonna get chairs and sticks and rocks and whatever, and we're gonna just do this. And I'm fighting for my life.
Right.
I'm fighting for my freedom.
Right.
So I think I don't know.
No, I get what you're saying. It's like, I mean, yeah, you could have you could have chose. I'd rather choose death over this type of life.
Maybe you should say to stay enslaved was a choice.
Yeah, and I mean,
I could see that considering the fact that it's not really talked about a lot in the history. Even when we're going to school, it wasn't told about.
That's the thing
about the rebellions.
Yes, but see, if you know
that more,
see, and I was taught that it's not true. Like slaves rebelled. Like Nat Turner.
No, there was a lot of rebellions of like
a lot of rebellions. Like there was this whole. I watched the thing where they killed everybody in the town, and then the marshals came in and killed all the slaves, obviously. But there was a lot of rebellions, but they don't teach that in school. And I don't want to get too political.
No, we're not.
But they're not. They don't want to teach that to people.
They don't show so much of this. Show and share so much of that.
Yeah, and especially we got places like Florida. They're trying to take away Black history altogether. They're trying to they're trying to say, well, slaves, they didn't mind being slaves. Well, that's not true. Was it a choice? Maybe, you know what I mean? But I'm sure no slave was like, hell yeah, I love being a slave today. So right. So and how traumatic that is. And I understand people are going to naturally want to stay alive. I understand all of that, but I also understand look at what someone's saying, that's weird. You said that, but if I don't want to be judgmental, I can see some of your points, and we can have a discussion about it.
Or even the initial shock of something that someone says. If we can take a moment just to not let that consume us.
Yeah.
Sometimes we can dig a little deeper and probably break down what people are trying to say more.
And knowing who you're talking to. Have we ever known Kanye not to be crazy?
It's always been controversial.
Why did it become you know what I'm saying?
Stuff we love and stuff we hate.
He's always been controversial. So it's I don't look, he said some dumb stuff, but I don't know. I'm not telling you I support him, but I'm not out here hating Kanye West. It's not what I do. That's not.
Yeah, man, t-shirt on.
I don't even know who I am. How can I hate somebody that
you don't know us?
So, keeping it in perspective, y'all, we get to. But I think it's very popular to be on a certain side that you feel is righteous and saying the right things. But now we're at a kind of point in time where I feel people say the right things, but they don't do the right things. So, you should question everything, in my opinion. But this is not an art conversation. Now we're talking about politics, I feel. But it just goes
how things go
to what's going on in Minnesota. We got to get more into being collaborative and hearing people's other side of the story.
Yeah.
And I think the Twin Cities has done a really good job, in my opinion, for the most part, trying to move on what happened, with Big Floyd. So
Mm-hmm.
I think some things are changing. We could do better, but yeah.
I mean, that was definitely you know, historical and very impactful to obviously us, but just the rest of the world.
Yeah.
So I do think it did open a lot of eyes.
Yep.
I was having a conversation out here in the alley recently. I can't think of her name. Older white woman. She's like, I just want to do more. I want to help, and I want to help the underserved. And I feel like no one believes me because I'm an older white woman. I'm like, whatever. Like, so what are you telling me? She said, well, I'm trying to volunteer. I'm trying to, give back. I'm trying to do whatever I can. I want to be an ally. Like, okay, that's great, beautiful, whatever. She's like, I'm trying to reach out to these different places, and they're not accepting my help. I'm like, well, quit telling them that you are trying to help, and you're trying to be this, and you're trying to be that, and you're trying to be an ally, and you want to help the underserved. Just do it.
Just go do it.
Just go do it. Whatever that is.
Yeah.
Even if they don't let you hand out something, whatever you do, don't even announce it. That's really how you feel.
Yeah, I agree. I agree that white guilt is a little annoying because it's not helpful sometimes. It's just you're just being guilty.
But maybe she just had to change her.
And I'm not saying that she's not trying to do good things, but sometimes, in my opinion, bro, it's just best for y'all to get out the way. Just like for when women have something going on, I'm gonna get out the way because I'm not reaching out. Like, I'm gonna help the way you want me to help. If you want me to help, I'll help. But sometimes it's best to get out the way. We're not looking for anybody to help us all the time. I think black people need to help themselves.
Most definitely.
But I do get annoyed when people try to hold us accountable for things they're already trying to hold us accountable for.
Mm-hmm.
Like when people you know what I mean? So black people are doing the work out here, y'all, in my opinion. Do we need more leadership? I can agree with that, but we're trying. Like, I think, when people talk about police shootings and stuff like that, well, what about black on black crime? It's not even equal. You know what I mean?
It has nothing to do with each other.
So
yeah,
I think if you can get that out of your head, we'd be better off. And then the second thing is we don't need people to save us. Just follow our lead and what we're asking for.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I just, just give us the chance to do our stuff the way we want to do it.
Yeah,
like you guys did.
Exactly.
That's what we want.
Exactly.
It's like I don't need you to hold my hand or put something, pat me on the back or whatever. Just like you say, get out the way and allow us to do it. We might mess up. We might mess up along the way. And that's part of growth.
Let us mess up.
But
right.
Let us just give us opportunity.
Right.
Like we're going back to what we were talking about earlier. It's like limited opportunities, there's limited venues, limited spaces to be able to express yourself or practice what you want to do or try to it could be on a business aspect or opening a new business, whatever it is. There's so many like this different obstacles, and a lot of that needs to change. But a lot of that does start with us.
Yeah, I mean, I think because of our culture or not even our culture. That's not true. The stereotype of our culture. A lot of the event spaces are afraid that that's going to occur in their event space where, but they ignore the fact that happens in their culture. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like, I've seen so many fights in Cowboy Jacks or whatever bar I'm at. So it's like, I don't know why we're even you know what I mean? And
because the perception.
The perception of it, yeah.
Car stuff, it's a shooting.
Right.
Or something.
Right.
It's really violent.
It's a riot.
Yes. It's just different.
It's a sports celebration.
It's portrayed differently, and it makes them scared.
It's portrayed different because we've literally seen as black people constant examples of white people rioting over hockey games, and baseball games. So it's like
everyone's the same.
We are the same.
Every race does the same things when they've been listen to certain music or drinking too much or whatever.
Right.
Everybody gets out of control sometimes. Like, that's not an abnormal thing to a particular race. Every race does that.
I think
it's like
it's funny that
don't try to just focus on it.
Right. Yeah. That's just you. Yeah. That's your.
But let's not forget the Katrina moment where the same newspaper was like, this guy's a looting. They went to the white people. This guy's is scavenging for survival.
Exactly. Exactly. You gotta play with it. I remember back in the day, downtown. So back in the day, there used to be like a lot of clubs and stuff downtown.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of clubs. So you can go out pretty much.
Talking about the blockade days?
Even before then.
Okay.
Yeah, but That's part of it too, but even before then. So, what is it now? What's the big one down there? Is it Cowboy Jacks?
Is that a Cowboy Jack?
Or is it Slim? Is it Jacks?
It's Jack's.
Yeah,
The
Cowboy
Slim's-
Jack's.
Big one.
Slim's is Uptown, I believe.
Okay, so it's Cowboy
Cowboy
Jacks.
Jack is a big one on that corner by Target.
By the railroad track.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yep, we're talking about-
there used to be a club called the Quest.
that was a quest.
Huge club.
Oh yeah.
So one night we're out, and a certain night of the week is like Asian night. It's like
Thursday.
all the Asians go there. I don't remember what day it was, but they had the most epic out of this world brawl going on. All Asians doing all things that you can imagine Asian people do. They're just punching, kicking, slamming. There's like one cop over there
Oh shit.
on a on one of the horses or something. He's just like, guys, calm down, knock it off, talking on the speaker and stuff. They're going crazy. They're changing each other from limb. Right around the corner at the, I forget where we're at, but it's like that's the the urban spot, black spot. Every cop in downtown's over there,
Watch.
spraying us with mace, arresting people because I think there's like a little scuffle or something.
Right.
Like one little scuffle, like some girls, Like there's a whole brawl going on over here. They're not even like they're ignoring them. But that just goes to show the perception, like they're so much more concerned about us and what we're doing. We don't care about what they're doing over
I've
here.
seen full out white dudes brawl and they just get taken out of the club. And in that same club, I've seen like these two girls two black women get in a fight, and they got put in handcuffs. So I was like,
Yo.
we had grown men
Grown
2
men.
weeks ago fighting each other, and they got taken out the club. So like, anyway,
And I think the same spot you were just talking about, like Vanquish, the new spot.
yeah.
I forgot what club that was before,
Vanquish was,
but that's where all the brothers and sisters used to
they
hang
used
out.
to go there.
God damn.
Oh,
Was that Aqua?
Aqua. It was it Aqua?
Was it
That was Aqua back.
It was
in the day.
Aqua. It was Aqua.
Oh,
It
Right
was
there,
Aqua.
right there on
on
right
First and whatever?
down the street from the Wyman building.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, it's a Wyman building basically, right?
Is it Aqua?
Yeah, like right.
It's
It's like
Aqua.
the Wyman
It's
building
Aqua.
Aqua
Yeah.
right here.
It's Aqua.
Because it's
Yeah.
always interesting. Because I know now it's changed, but when all the brothers used to go there, that's where all the cops would be, bar closed.
See?
All the horses, all the cop squads, they'll be right there.
Well, again, when you go out now, if you go to Tom's Wash Bar, the cops are right. Like you go right down to Gold Room. They're all
Yep.
there.
They're all over there.
If you look at Tom's Wash Bar,
Okay.
ain't nobody. Well,
Gonna
let's
take out
go
my
to the fight
scientific
night,
hat.
and the cops are over there.
What is a constant here?
Man.
Black people.
Right.
It's fucked up.
It never changes. We're talking about the span of decades.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
fucked
no.
up.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it
never
hasn't
changed.
changed for anybody. If you're black, you've seen this the entire time. If
No.
you go out, the cops are beyond.
That does suck.
Yeah,
That does suck. But at the end of the day, we can only control what we can control.
exactly.
And we got to make sure we keep portraying ourselves in a better light.
Yeah, I think
And let them know that it's not like that.
black people in Minnesota
talk,
have
big talk.
realized that. I'm not in. I'm not out like that. But I don't hear as much as the bullshit. Like, there's still gonna be fights. People are drinking. I mean, that's what's gonna happen. But I don't know what's going on down there. I shouldn't speak on that, but I don't think it's not as bad anyways to me. Anyways,
Mm-hmm.
like you go to any other major city, there's gonna be shooting. There's gonna be
It happens everywhere.
it happens everywhere. So I think some people just think about Minneapolis like, oh, it's so dangerous. It's like it's
It really
not.
isn't.
I walk home by myself at 3 a.m. all the time. It's not
Yeah.
dangerous.
It really is.
But
Sure, it's a really safe city.
what else do you do on your free time? And you say, like, what do you do when you're not working and you're not planning a party, you're not chefing?
Free time, man. I play a lot of PlayStation. So I'm on 2K all the time.
Love 2K.
I'm a movie guy.
Yep, we talk about movies a lot.
Yep. So I love the Marvel and DC type stuff and all the big, franchises like that, Transformers and some of the Star Wars stuff. I love all that kind of stuff. Other than that, I just chill.
Would you call yourself? This is my last thing I'm gonna talk about before we head out.
Also,
We can down for a minute, but like you collect a lot of art, and what do you think about the conversation we had about what makes art valuable?
Ooh.
Because I wanted to talk about that before we go. Like, 'cause we're
Yeah.
talking about what was it, the Jay-Z painting that got paid for? Or whatever? Well, you were saying that the artist should have got the discussion on social media was the artist should have got some kind of commission from what Jay-Z paid.
Right, the original artist painted the Jay-Z painting, and the restaurant down in New Orleans bought it from him,
Mm-hmm.
and they posted it in the restaurant. It was a big hit, and it was blowing up on social media because everyone loved the painting so much. They're taking pictures in front of it, all that kind of stuff, to the point where it got Jay-Z's attention, and he went there and he actually bought the painting for way more than what they bought from the artist. Yeah, and a lot of people were saying he should have been compensated more for the work.
Mm-hmm. That wasn't our discussion.
That
kind of was
piggyback from that. Yeah. And I'm like, well, because of the buzz it created initially with people taking pictures of it or whatever, and to the point where Jay-Z ended up buying it, that's what created the value.
Mm-hmm.
That's what made it valuable.
Right.
If that had never happened, it just would have been a nice painting of Jay-Z. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, what we're discussing is what makes the art valuable. What creates the value for the art? You know, like you could have two different pieces of work that are both exceptional, but this one's value. This one has this much value, and this one isn't worth much of anything, other than the amount of supplies you put into it, because of whatever reason. You know,
and I think we tried to we tried to discuss other examples, and you know, it's kind of hard because art is so
subjective.
Like even cause I think music is subjective, but it's not visual. You know what I mean?
It's subjective, but it's still measurable. Like we were talking about, like there's still facts behind the music.
Yeah.
Earlier, like there's numbers that support it. Like it has this many streams. It's so this many units, or whatever. So it's like you can say what you want about whatever artist. You can say I can't even think of nobody right now.
Drake. This is whatever.
Just say Drake. A lot of people don't like Drake.
A lot of people don't like Drake.
I love Drake. I don't know why people don't like Drake.
Drake.
Drake. Drake's a perfect example. Like,
perfect example.
You can say whatever you want about Drake. You can hate him. He's corny. This and that. The numbers don't lie.
They don't lie.
They don't lie. He's broken records.
Yep.
You know. So it's like versus a painting. What makes that worth $1 million?
It has to be. It has to speak to you. Then it's like, well, in my opinion, when we're talking about it, depends on either a person of value. It speaks to that person of value, or the mass majority of people who see that painting and think it's a valuable painting.
Mm-hmm.
But with music, isn't that kind of the same thing? It's subject, but you can put numbers behind music. That's the difference.
Yeah, I think that's the difference because there's enough behind the music to justify the opinions of that music versus a piece of art that you and I might see. The three of us might see that same piece 3 different ways.
Right.
It might be priceless to you.
Right.
It might be worth $100 to you. To me, it ain't worth nothing.
Which is different because, like, when you do make a music hit, it is universally a hit.
It's a hit.
Yeah. And there's actually science behind it because what makes a hit song is the faster the audience can identify the patterns in the music, that's what makes a hit song. So a lot of people are like, yeah, this is a good song, but it's also because, like, the patterns made sense in your head that it actually sounds good and it makes sense.
There's like science behind it.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay,
that's why the simplest
put the two together in a film. Have you ever seen The Warriors in '85? It came out in '85.
Yes.
Is that a good movie to you?
Looking at it now, no. At that time, it seemed great back then.
I love that movie. It's great. My favorite movie. Okay. It's a cult classic, right? But is that a good movie?
I don't know if it's good.
It's like they just have a special moment where everybody just clicked with it.
That's why I like paintings and movies and sometimes music is like you can put numbers behind it. You can put numbers behind that movie. It didn't sell great. There's no big time actors that you can recognize in that film, but anybody, especially like most dudes who love film have seen The Warriors. So there is some value in that film.
Right.
And it made value probably after, like way after it came out. And so it's like, but why? But why?
But I also think it's also how the audience is receptive for it to the point where people are making jokes and references about it.
It's
And
pop
being
culture.
the-
Yeah.
Pop culture, for sure.
There's
So
a
it's
lot of
like,
movies made parodies to that, like "Come out and play," you know.
Yep.
and like a painting, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess if you think about Van Gogh, his paintings weren't like great when he was alive. But when he died, people loved him.
And that's the unfortunate part that I do have to say with especially visual artists. It's unfortunate that most of them get the credit after they're dead, after they died, you know.
And I wonder why.
Why?
Yeah.
I don't understand that either. I don't know what that is. I'm not connected enough to that to understand that.
I don't
And I
know.
don't-
And I think part of why the reason why Banksy is so big is I think it's part of the mystery. But I think if people knew what he looked like, I don't think his stuff would be where it is now.
Have you
It
seen
could-
Banksy stuff? Like, have you seen? Is it Dismail World or Dismail Land, where it's a
Yeah.
play out of Disneyland, but it's really really weird.
Really?
Have you seen the stencil painting of a chick, of a little girl trying to catch a balloon?
It's like it's kind of old, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think I've seen that.
that's I think that's one of his most iconic
Okay.
ones.
Okay.
Where it's like he's a street artist.
He's a
He's a
street
graffiti
artist, yeah.
artist. Let's put it as simple as
Okay.
that. But his stuff has made it to big museums where he's selling it for millions,
Right.
for millions
Really?
right now.
So, but why is that? Why is his work worth millions now?
I think it's because there's a mystery of that nobody knows how he looks. Nobody knows who Banksy is.
And
Like,
I
I'm the real Banksy.
Right.
and I think that he's so out of bounds. He's so iconic that you recognize his artwork anywhere.
And it has like a political. It always has like kind of like a political or social culture message behind
Really?
it. Let's put it simple.
And it's like what bro said in the shop. People get an emotional response
Yeah.
to his artwork,
Mhm.
and I think that's what makes it valuable. It could be ugly, but if you only get an emotional response, or it could be creepy.
Yeah.
You get an emotional response. People are like, I might want that in my house.
And I think part of it is also because he makes his art simple enough that you look at it once, you get it, you understand.
Identify it.
Yep.
Yeah.
You never forget a Banksy
Mm-mm.
piece.
I appreciate art like
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
more. The super abstract, all over the place.
No.
I don't
Like this is simple. You look at it, you get the message.
That's what it is. I like that's great. That's great art.
It makes you even think more. You're like, oh wow,
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
this is what life is, and this is it's simple.
Because what were we talking about? Was that you saying that about the Dark Knight poster?
Yeah. Like because you were saying when you like, he likes images that is just the subject, like
Yeah.
a Nipsey Hussle. Like if you paint it, I just want to see Nipsey. Where I'm
A
like,
great painting of Nipsey.
but he's not looking at like this like a story there. Where I look at like something like Nipsey, and I'm like, okay, that's his album cover when he made that one album. He sold it for like a bunch of money. Like I'm going into like the whole story of where I
Took the
seen
picture
it.
in that alley that he grew up in.
Yeah, I get into all that.
I miss all that kind of
See,
stuff.
Cause we were looking at the
All I
Dark
see
Knight
is the
poster.
guy,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
or the figure or the character.
Yeah.
I don't see nothing in the background.
Right.
I don't see what might be on his shirt.
Or the little number in the background, which is actually put there on purpose because that's his age of birth or whatever. It
I
might
never
be.
see that kind of stuff
That's
ever,
That's interesting.
ever. I just see the main character, and that's it. Yeah, but people always point stuff out to me like, "Oh, this means that, and that represents that." Like you said, that's his birth date over there on the right hand side.
See that? I just saw it.
I never saw that until you said it. Like so. But I think that's dope when people can't identify that kind of stuff. You know, that's not one of my
Not your thing.
strengths. No.
No, it's also I think kind of a gift to be able to stay on. Is what I'm saying. I'm like, you know what I mean? 'Cause sometimes it's not even all that. You know what I mean? It's not even what we're talking about.
And make it more than what it
You
really
think more
is.
what it is.
And unfortunately speaking, it's like majority of us as humans, we want things as simplified and direct as possible. Only
Yes.
art nerds who are gonna be like, oh, I'm gonna look at this very intricately, and even break it down to like, oh, he did his strokes with this kind of brush and this, you know.
I do all
Normal people are not talking about that.
Right.
It's like,
'Cause they don't read them though for real.
No.
Yeah. Like just give me something nice.
Yeah.
So
and I think actually now that I'm
That's-
thinking about music and I think everything just comes down to simplicity. The quicker you can identify, the quicker people will gravitate to it.
And I'm not like that with music. I like music that's kind of like, I love when a song changes its beat.
really.
I love when a song, you have this beat going, and it just changes up on you. I'm like,
Wow.
whoa, wait, hold up.
Yeah.
Like, I love artists who do that stuff.
Mhm.
I like like symphonies and songs. Like I grew up with like old school like Temptations music, because they one move them songs are like 5 minutes long, and I like stuff like that. You'll switch it up, you little solo or whatever you want to do on it. I like stuff like that. I don't, but now it's all these short songs, 2 minute songs, and I get also the like that's nice too. Like I get it's cut dry microwave song. You get a good song, you're done with it. So
I mean, the good thing now with
interesting, man.
accessibility is like you can find your 2 minute songs, or you can find something very
Whichever
creative.
one you prefer.
Yeah.
I don't need a whole lot.
Right.
I don't need a whole lot. I like the simple, get to the point, get right to the beat.
Let's go.
You don't got to be super duper deep with the lyrics and all that. Like,
Come on, let's go.
I like right to the point. Say what you mean what you say.
Drop the goddamn beat. Let's go.
Let's go.
I
Like,
get that though.
but I get it though.
Yeah, I get that though. Like I think Travis Scott's last album, I like it a lot because like he's not. It's very musical, very change the beat, change the way it raps, like. And I'm like, and I kind of realized that this year, like that's why you like the different tone to it sometimes, but yeah, art's crazy, man. It's kind of based off your opinion.
For sure.
And if other people agree with your opinion, it's more valuable. That's why people like finding a brand new artist before people find, you know what I mean? Because like, I was the first one to find that guy. Like, I have the emotional attachment. I have the ear for this guy before all you did. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So
people take a lot of pride in that.
they do.
They do. And I'm more of a. I'll let you find out for me.
I feel that.
Let me know
like
when you know.
Is it good? Because then I'll
check it out.
Right,
Like
right.
I'm not really
I'm not trying to find
just
it.
try new things.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I'm very. I honestly, this is kind of off what we're talking about, but I feel like I don't have the connection to music like most people I know have. I just hear what it is. It don't move me. It don't like. There's very few songs that are like that for me.
But then the flip side, not a lot of people have the same connection with food like that you have. So it just kind of it's interesting how like you're like you could have an eye for this or a mind for that, but not for the other. Like I've never cared about sculptures. Never even cared.
That's not my thing.
Not my thing.
It don't move me.
It doesn't move me. I don't actually. I don't like statues.
I respect it though. I respect it because I know it's something I can't.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't get like.
It's not something I care about. Painting, I like painting. So like I'll look at it. That's dope.
You know what made me respect painting more?
What?
When I moved in here.
Yeah.
Before that, I just like whatever.
Yep.
But now that I've had a more up close view of it on a regular basis, like, oh, this is actually pretty cool.
Yeah,
I think before that,
I think it's dope.
Whatever.
But yeah, it depends on what you're kind of exposed to a lot too. Like it's a lot of things that come into art that we don't talk about. That's why I made this podcast. Art's a different thing. Like you can be, I think, being an entrepreneur is an artist. Like you have to be creative with what you do, like with your time. You know what I mean?
That's true.
So, but man, we've been talking for what 2 hours almost now. Where were we at?
We are almost at 2 hours.
Yeah, damn, one of them long podcasts, yo. I'm sorry. We talk about a lot of stuff.
Maybe I'm a little cooler than what I thought I
was. No, we just kind of like, I think, this was more of a natural conversation. I kind of know you. I think it will be easier to kind of just rattle off things.
I mean, which is okay. We still had that whatever, like a 5-minute break we had on here. So
yeah,
chop that off and stuff. So
but
B-roll.
Yeah, but yeah, it was a great conversation. I'm glad you were able to.
No, it's good stuff.
I appreciate it. I appreciate y'all having me, man.
We're gonna have you here again at some point. So
no, this is great. You guys are doing good things. We need more voices. We need more outlets, like we talked about. So,
right, we do.
Y'all doing y'all part, man. It's official.
And it's good to also because I mean he's hyped up your food a lot on it, but it's also good to meet you because I am actually trying to like more gear up and doing more events. So I'm definitely like if you're still doing that catering stuff.
I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm always. I don't. Even if I'm not here,
you're here.
I'm always around here.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. Yeah. So if I had known, I could have brought some food on here.
Yeah, we should have said so. But, I just want to pick your brain. You have so much knowledge. So many things you discuss. Like I pick your brain without you knowing sometimes.
That's how you do, because I don't be thinking.
So
I just be talking.
It's great to hear like your perspective on business and artistry and what you think about the state. So this is another episode of the Gyst Rewind podcast. I forgot the camera through here, so
Hey.
it was a good conversation. Man, until next time, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.
Man, that was dope.
That's great.
Yeah, that's good.
Hey, what's up? Thank you again for joining us for another episode of the Gyst Rewind podcast, where you bring context to culture. I want to give a thank you to my partners Lee and Judd for helping me shoot this episode. Man, a big thank you to Mr. Levorn Love, aka VersatileHands, for stopping in, dropping gems, sharing his experiences, and showing what it means to be an entrepreneur in Minnesota. And I love talking to people like that, who have just a creative mind and have very versatile ways of making income. And he has an event, tomorrow, Labor Day weekend. So when this drops, it'll be on Sunday. Go support. But yeah, until next time, y'all. I appreciate y'all. Until next time, y'all. Peace.